I wanted to do a video talking about my favorite books that I read in 2015, and I couldn't do it. I read a lot of really, really great books this year, and I couldn't even begin to break them down into which ones I liked the best. So what I decided to do is to just list all the books that I read this year that I rated 5 stars. Before this starts, I guess there's a little bit of a disclaimer here, in case some of you aren't aware. I'm a bit of a rating whore. If I love a book, it gets 5 stars. I don't see a reason why I should take marks off of a book if I loved it. If I feel comfortable saying that I loved it, and I want other people to read it, it gets 5 stars. So, there's a lot of them. There's 15 or 16 of them, I think. And so that, yeah. And I have them in no particular order. This is just the way I pulled them off my bookshelf. So they're not in any order or ranking or anything. They're just all the books that I read this year that I rated 5 stars. I'm not going to go into detail about them, I'm just going to show them to you, but I will link down below full reviews for all of the books that I show you in this video. The first book is actually the first one I do remember. This is the first one that I read in 2015, and that is We Should Hang Out Sometime by Josh Sundquist. This is like kind of a YA memoir. Yep. The next book that I have here is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, which is YA about a girl in university who writes fanfiction, and it's fabulous. Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan, which is LGBT story. It's very wonderful, the writing is beautiful, great messages, great story. Split Second by Casey West, which is the sequel to Pivot Point. Awesome sequel, just as good as the first one. Ah, so good. Hollow City by Ransom Riggs, which is the sequel to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And I like this better than the first one. Really, really, really good. Yeah. The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, which is about evil fairies. There's good fairies in it too, but there's also evil ones. Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella, which is Sophie Kinsella's first YA novel. It's about a 14-year-old girl suffering from social anxiety, and it's really, really sweet. It's a wonderful story. Saga, volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4 by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. It is a fantasy / sci-fi. There's like aliens, and they also can do magic. The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. Awesome, exciting, gruesome Jack the Ripper tale. Ink by Amanda Sun, which takes place in Japan, and it's about people whose drawings come to life. The Martian by Andy Weir, which is about someone who gets stranded on Mars. And it's amazing! The Eternals by Clover Donovan, who is also Richard Denny on YouTube. You should support your local authors. He's not local. You should support your fellow booktubers / authors. This is a really wonderful middle grade story. I feel like if I read this when I was 10 years old, it would be like my favorite story. It's great. Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. It's a wonderful, wonderful story about magic and discovering who you are and just great things. It's great. Blue Lily, Lily Blue, which is the 3rd book in the Raven Cycle, which I feel like I don't have to say much about this. If you haven't started this series, get on that. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, which is one of her adult novels about a universe with multiple Londons and someone who can travel between the Londons and things happen, and it's really good. And Fire and Flood by Victoria Scott, which I would say is basically a combination of The Hunger Games and Pokemon, and it's amazing. And I'm currently reading the sequel. I wanted to finish the sequel before the end of the year, but I don't think it's going to happen because I'm doing things for the next 2 days and then it's going to be 2016. But yes, ha! Those are all the books that I rated 5 stars in 2015, and you should check them out if you haven't yet. Do a little research, watch my reviews, see if you think you would give them 5 stars as well, or 4 stars, and if you think it's a book that you would enjoy, then you should read them. I guess that's all for now. Bye.